What's up, guys? It's Priets coming back to you with another Binding of Isaac episode. Once again, as I've said at the very beginning of this whole shebang, we're going to have Damian on 2 times a week, so we have a special guest.
Hi, I'm back, better than ever. Coming in for the Priets podcast. I don't know, that's not. Don't take that name, anybody. But it's Binding Isaac. I love very time of the day.
Yep. And by time of the day, he means time of the 1:30 a.m. So, we just finished filming with the John Paul. Thoughts, Damian?
Dinosaurs.
Yep, dinosaurs. JP doesn't watch these videos, so we can talk trash about him. Okay, so today what we have on our hands is an APOLLYON run. Why? Because Apollyon, whatever you want to call him, he is one guy that I have lots of marks on, but don't have Mega Satan, I don't have Delirium, and I don't have hard mode, greed mode, but that doesn't matter for this run. So I'm just going for Mega Satan and Delirium if I can. To start off this little Preets podcast, we're gonna bring it back. So last episode, Damien, remember what we talked about?
Talked about me going to Virginia.
Yeah. And so one thing that we didn't talk about is how much time Damien and I spent really just driving around my car, going places. And during that time, what do people do in their cars when they're driving?
I was gonna say something inappropriate, so I'm gonna say music. Listen to music. That's my next guess.
So when Damien was back in Virginia, we were hanging out. It was the first time, really, that I think Damien and I could drive, and that we were in a car just together vibing out to some music. And I hate the word vibe. I'm sorry I used it. Anybody listening, but Damien introduced me to one of the all-time, or for high school selves, all-time best albums.
I did.
Yeah, you introduced me to American Teen by Khalid.
Absolutely, I did. So, American Teen is an album that holds a very special place to the El Pasoans' heart. To anybody now, I guess now you know I live in El Paso, Texas. But of course, if anybody knows, the famous Khalid, he comes out of El Paso, and he released his debut album American Teen back when we were in high school, and my life was never the same. I love this album so much, especially when I listen to it. It takes me back to a special place in my life. I remember when the album wasn't even out yet, and he was still just dropping the music on SoundCloud. Because fun fact, my aunt is a principal for America's High School, which is the high school that Khalid actually went to, and she actually knows him. They're pretty close. So, with that being said, I remember like when he was releasing these songs on SoundCloud, and everybody was like, "This dude is awesome," and then he was like a little hometown celebrity. He really was. And whenever the album actually came out, it was hype because this was like the first big thing to come out of El Paso, and the fact that it had such a big reach, it really put El Paso on the map. I think for the first time, for something that wasn't, I don't know, something that was just a little out of the ordinary that we really didn't expect out of El Paso.
Yeah, before that, the only time I had ever heard any mention of the country of El Paso was from Damien. Other than that, I just knew it as a word. But then American Teen opened it up to me as the city of the 315.
God damn it. But yeah, before Khalid, a lot of people thought El Paso is either they just hear it in a lot of country songs. It isn't a lot of country songs like old school Johnny Cash. They just mentioned El Paso because Johnny Cash, or Johnny Cash, is that his name?
Johnny Cash, yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah. He was arrested in El Paso. Fun fact. He was spent a night in the El Paso County Jail when he was trying to smuggle drugs over from Mexico. Jeez. Fun fact. So you know what? El Paso didn't have the best reputation, besides like Chicos Tacos and a whole bunch of other just El Paso things. If you know. So Khalid putting us on the map was awesome. And this album I think plays a special part in me and Jonas's friendship because like I mentioned before, it brings us back to a very special place in our lives. Like the album name suggests, American Teen. It's about being American and a teen. A concept that's mind blowing, honestly, blows my mind every time too. But what I really like about this is it really is like such a nice story of in my head what it is to be a teenager, what it is to be young and just like young, dumb, and broke, as the album would suggest.
Yeah, it was, and I feel like Damien got a whole different kind of understanding from the album than I did, because I mean, one, he lived in the city that it was kind of created around. And so for me, it kind of just gave me throwbacks to hanging out with Damien, and also it's just a song that really, I mean, it relates to high schoolers. As Damien said, like, high schoolers, we don't work, we don't have good jobs, we don't do anything. We are young, we're dumb, we're broke, we make bad decisions, but we're here, we have a fun time. So it's one of it. We've talked about it, Damien and I. It's one of, or off camera, it's one of my all-time favorite albums. It's one of Damien's all-time favorite albums. It's just a quality album. And that's kind of what started Damien and I like sharing music with each other and being more expressive about our musical taste with each other, talking about stuff. Because all of my like high school years, like I didn't really have like playlists on my phone or anything. I kind of just listened to the radio. But then after that, I kind of started making playlists more. I kind of like more tuned what I would listen to. And so at that time, it was really just Khalid, maybe a sprinkle of Logic, and a lot of Post Malone. Because I think that was before Beer Bong and Bentley's came out, so it was really just American Teen and Stoney. And yeah, I know that Damien also likes Post Malone. I don't know if he likes him as much as I do.
Yeah, I definitely can't say that I like Post Malone that much. Honestly, I wouldn't say that even that I'm a Post Malone fan. I do enjoy the guy. He is entertaining, but uh, when it comes to music, at least for me, and just from my understanding, before we go move forward, I want to I'm just under the understanding that the Priets cast today is about music. So when it comes to music for me, I have a very I don't know, I'd say I have a very weird music taste because I like a little bit of everything. I like a little pizzazz of this and that. Because a good example of my favorite album of all time is actually, which actually what actually brings me back to high school and makes me think of high school myself, is "Awaken My Love" by Childish Gambino. Uh, Although the music is amazing, more so it just takes me back to this time and when I was in high school and I was just living my most authentic life. By authentic life, I mean being heartbroken and and just living day by day and listening to this song every night with my volume at max and be like and stay woke.
So, Damien, about playing your music at volume at max, I was trying to adjust your volume about like 3 minutes ago. I accidentally turned you up to 200%. So if you heard me clicking a lot, is that's because I got it stuck on 200%. I was really scared and my ears hurt. And people here probably heard it in my headphones like the other episode. But continue, Damien. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No. So when it comes to music, that's my favorite album. And a little bit of a more recent album that I really do enjoy is Circles. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. So I was a Mac Miller fan. Also started listening to Mac Miller in high school. Nothing really much to say besides Circle was such a good album. Makes it really sad. And then, so I like R&B, I like hip hop, but then at the same time, I love jazz. I could listen to jazz for days, and I could listen to like orchestral pieces. Yeah, that's how you say it.
Orchestral.
I could just orchestral pieces also, and honestly, I could go on and on. I even sometimes listen to opera. I really like alternative. I love the Marias. I love Tame Impala, Beach House, a whole bunch of alternative kind of groups. Mess with them a lot. Love like pop too. Love Harry Styles. So my music taste is like just all over the place. I wouldn't even say I'm a fan of any specific specific album or genre rather. Sorry. But definitely, I think one album that me and Jonas vibe. Not, I don't want to say vibe to, but that we just had a good time bonding over was American Teen blasting it in his car the summer of 2017.
Oh yeah.
Just being young, dumb, broke, and yeah, just being young, dumb, and broke.
Yeah, and that like it was weird. Music before high school. Before high school, I didn't really like think about music at all. Because before like high school, like yeah, I was in band, I was in that kind of stuff, but whenever I was anywhere, like even today, I don't listen to music outside of my car that much. I like unless we're in like Discord and somebody plays a song while we're just playing a game or something. It's not really something I do to go and like listen to music. I want to get more into that, but it's just something that I've never been super deep dive into. And so it wasn't until high school when I would like start being in a car without my parents and like not be listening to their music that I really started developing my own taste in music. So just like Damian, I am also like a musical heathen. Like lots of people would probably try to sacrifice us to some greater being just because we say that we like all these different types. But hey, we're allowed to like all these different types, aren't we, Damian?
Yeah, we're like whatever we want to like.
Exactly.
And honestly, like I'm not an expert in music. I don't want to pride myself in being something more than I actually am. I like what I like. I like the music that I like. I think me and Jonas we suffer from the same thing where we have like a set list of songs that we just enjoy and we just listen to the crap out of those songs.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy the music.
Yeah, so as Amy said, I've had pretty much the same playlist for the past many years. And really, unless a new album drops or something, I will just add that to the playlist. The entire thing. I listen to whole albums. I don't know. There's some people who don't like listening to whole albums. They're very picky. They're like, I want this exact song from this album, these two songs from this album, but I don't feel like that.
I can't do that. Oh, I guess I can do that. But I really just enjoy. A lot of times, especially I think a well put together album. A lot of times it tells a story from beginning to end, and I like that. I do enjoy listening to a whole album from beginning to end and just going through this spiritual musical journey with an album.
One of the best intros to any album. Nobody can refute this. Bobby Tarantino 2, Rick and Morty. How can you go against that? What's better than that? Give me one album that has a better intro.
I mean, I'm biased. I just love the Wake of My Love intro. It's just.
But is it Rick and Morty?
It's not Rick and Morty, but it's Childish Gambino.
So, Damien came on this podcast. We're going to call it a podcast now just to have the meme of calling it a podcast. But I told Damien that it was going to be about music. And in my mind, I don't know if I could talk about music that much. I think I've pretty much exhausted everything. So, unbeknownst to Damien, we're going to talk about the marching band days, because that is music.
So, I guess in the spirit of music, I'll start off the marching band story, because that's where I started. Good old me. So, if we go back a couple to Priets cast episodes, to the one where we first met and kind of that story, I mentioned that I met JP. You're not JP. I met Jonas in the gymnasium class, and that was a very fun time, I guess you could say. So eventually, what ended up happening was I wouldn't even consider him a friend, but I had this short, weird dude introduce me to Jonas, and he said, "Hey, this guy's in band too," and I was like, I wouldn't say I felt I was cooler than band kids, but I was like, oh, band kids cringe. But I was a band kid. I was a band kid who called other band kids cringe. So that's the kind of person I am. I think that showcases me pretty well. But yeah, I was like, oh, that's freaking stupid. And pretty much he like introduced me and we tried being friends, or tried to like for us to all hang out. But really quickly I was like, hey, you're not a pretty lame band kid. You're pretty cool. You like video games, and like we mentioned before, we just kind of picked up there. So with that being said, me and Jonas were both in just regular band class, and for our freshman year, that was, I guess, it was cool. I mean, I don't really have any memories of us being in band together our freshman year.
Yeah.
Do you?
Well, it's important to say that Damien was in marching band at our high school. I had just moved there and did not know there was a marching band, so I was not in marching band that year. And that's why we didn't really hang out in band, because he hung out with the marching band kids and I didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, just going back to the actual marching band. I was in marching band my freshman year and my freshman and sophomore year, and freshman year I was like, even though I hated the band, like I was like, oh, band kids cringe. I was still like, yeah, the band kids are my homies though. At least the trumpet section. I really loved my trumpet section that we had.
Shout out Patrick.
Shout out Patrick. Shout out Demakwe. Shout out Duncan. I guess this is high brass, not just trumpet, but honestly, we were like a close little family, and I would say that freshman year was probably the closest to like a traditional high school memory that I remember, just because like I remember like going in for band camp. I knew nobody walking into there, and the high brass section really just took me in with open arms, and it was a fun time. A lot of I feel like it just wasn't the same, because as I get to the next big thing, I guess, just with this whole band thing, is I wasn't gonna do it my sophomore year because I was like, a lot of the people that I really liked were seniors and they left. I really don't want to do this anymore. But Jonas was like, I'm a band kid now, and I'm a marching band kid now. And I was like, that's kind of lame, and how we kind of recalled. I didn't join until like the third week or fourth week of marching band camp.
It was during summer band camp. He joined, I think it was the beginning of the second week, because it was only 2 weeks long. But also, you missed part of the story where the band director literally came up to Damian and I and were like, I want you two in the marching band. He was mainly doing like the flattery just so that we felt special. But it was a case of, he's like, I need you in this marching band. You two are great principal players. You guys are great people in this marching band. Do you remember that, Damian?
I don't remember. I do not remember this conversation
me and you had been discussing, because basically Damian was like, I'm not going to do marching band. And so for me, since Damian was at that time basically my only, like, not only, but like he was my best friend in Virginia at that time. He's not my best friend in Virginia now because he's not here. But he was my best friend in Virginia at that time. And so I'm like, if Damian's not going to do it, is there really any reason for me to do it? And so it was a hard decision. Mr. Bots we were talking one day about it, and Mr. Bots came up to us. I guess I'm saying his name now. Oopsies. He was
I was like, yeah, should we say it? Should we not? But
listen, it's whatever. Maybe that's his real name. It's just Bach. We're just making it's a play on word for Bach because he's a music teacher. So yeah, he did come up to us. It was one time. It was very quick, but I think he talked to me more than he talked to Damian about it, and was like trying to get me to talk Damian into it. I feel like something like that. But
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah, but in the end, I decided to do it, and I was very lonely at band camp without Damian, because, as Damian said, first day of band camp, I did not know any of these people.
And a little bit to add to that, Jonas was in the flute section.
Oh yeah, that's pretty important.
So like with the high brass section, it was a whole bunch of dudes, and then like 2 girls, which fine, but like where was a whole bunch of just bros being bros at the end of the day, even with the girls in the trumpets in the high brass section. But the flute section,
girls being girls,
just the girls being girls. And it was funny because you'd see this flute line, and then you just see Jonas, his lanky legs and lanky arms with his flute, pale as a freaking snowman.
Yeah. I want to mention freshman year of high school. At some point, one of our friends, because Damian and I were in PE together, one of our friends, I don't remember who it was, but described me as translucent, because I was apparently that pale. But yeah, the entire time I was in marching band, or like in the flute section, there's more to add to that because there's a little asterisk, but I was the only male flute in the band. But yeah, sophomore year was interesting. Damian joined the band second week.
I did join the band second week. I remember getting there, and there were so many people like, Dave, you're back. And I was like, I kind of regret this, but I'm not sure how much we'll get into, but sophomore year was a wild year of honestly, what me and Jonas always say, we don't hang out a lot, but what actually ended up happening in reality was we spent a lot of time together in marching band.
Yeah.
Because we would be there all day, all day pretty much. It was like, at least for that that fall quarter of high school, it was very just everything was about marching band, and as cringy it really was like a family. And I always forget to include that we spent that time together, and that's probably why me and Jonas are so close.
Yeah.
But
we were in school, so you can't count that as hanging out. We were in school. That's lame. You can't count that. They can't.
No,
count
I'm not saying hanging out. But I'm saying
I
we were just spending time together.
I'm joking.
But yeah, we would just go. I mean, there was it's this tale. I'm not sure if we're saving it for the actual podcast, but
so I mean,
it's a tale of women, a tale of lovers, of me and Jonas, a tale of matching hats. It's a tale of.
It's a pretty long story if we were to get into it. Basically, I say we have time on this, and the only time that Damian and I were in marching band together was sophomore year, because Damian moved after that. And so basically, a quick summary of all of it, I guess, we can do this in about 2 whole minutes, is Damian got to band. I was at band. I was like, Damian, they all think you're the coolest kid. That means I'm friends with the coolest kid in band. That's basically how it worked. But then there was Patrick. Patrick was the coolest kid in band.
Patrick's the coolest kid I know, period.
Honestly, Patrick is a guy. He is a pure guy. He's had a beard since he was birthed, I'm pretty sure. He is the guy.
I'm pretty sure he gave his mom rug burn on the way out.
Oh, no. Please.
Mrs. Poland, I'll call her that. Mrs. Poland. I feel for you out there.
But yeah, and so the rest of the year, as Damian said, it was a tale of basically lots of Damian and I hanging out being like, ooh, these 14-year-old girls, we were also 14 at this time, they're breaking our hearts, when really they were going to like Burger King with other boys.
Were they really? Was this?
That's a factual statement that I'm not going to get more into today. But that is part of the story where I was at my saddest was when she was at Burger King with another boy during marching band.
I don't even know what we're talking. I don't even know about this story myself, or maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah, I'll tell you after that, because we'll save the juicy details for the act. What are you talking about? An actual podcast? That's not going to exist.
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But marching band was an interesting time. As Damian said, it definitely brought us together more as friends, because I just remember there'd be lots of days that like after marching band we'd be like, okay, we're gonna hang out on this Friday since we don't have band because we don't have to go to a competition. Which, let me tell you, marching band as a competitive sport, competitive club, let's say that, I don't really like competitive marching band stuff. It's very stressful and all that jazz. And in college, I did marching band. I'm still in college. I stopped doing marching band, but I did marching band for a while. And non-competitive marching band, just doing it for fun, is so much more fun. You don't feel the stress of like, if I don't step correctly, I'll lose points for the entire marching band. No, you don't even step off at the right time. You don't, because it doesn't matter. Yes.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I can't attest to marching band after that. I mean, I stopped marching band after that because I moved to Texas, and I was like, I don't want to do marching band anymore. You know, I wasn't even going to do it my sophomore year, but I just really loved a lot of the people in there. So coming to my junior year, I was like, this isn't, I know I don't want to do this. In hindsight, I kind of do have sometimes regrets not doing it. But I guess for my own whole storyline, if I wouldn't have done that, it would have changed things drastically in my life. Because I remember what it came down to for me personally was I was going to be like, do I do debate or do I do marching band? And I chose debate.
That was quite the choice for Damian's life.
It was quite the choice for how my life would play out from there. But regardless, going back to marching band with Jonas, it's interesting because I think that marching band season was a lot of both of our first. Maybe I was not mistaken. Maybe question mark.
Yeah, like yeah. Explain it a little bit more, but yeah.
Specifically, like, what I was just trying to get at was like we went to like homecoming together. Like that was I think I went to homecoming my freshman year, but like I didn't do anything there. I was literally with Ryan Hobson, we'll call him, and we were just standing in a corner the whole time. So I remember we went to a homecoming that year. I won't give you the juicy details, even though I know everybody wants to know. We just we might have came out as gay to to the band teachers. Just good stuff, you know. A lot of firsts.
Yeah, I mean, it like Damien and I, that's why we got so close, is because of how many like quote unquote firsts we like kind of experienced together, because we went to homecoming together. There's someday, I keep mentioning pictures that I'll show someday, but there's a picture of Damien and I standing together, which is an anomaly of a picture, because Damien and I are standing next to each other. Damien is not significantly taller than me, but he is noticeably taller than me.
Oy.
Yeah, and so Damien, in the picture, Damien's taller than me, but for some reason our belts perfectly line up. I have like freak of nature legs. They don't look freak of nature, but it's a weird picture.
It is a weird picture. Well, one day we'll show the people. One day.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was an interesting time. I mean, we keep saying that we're gonna mention it in the podcast, but I kind of feel at this point we should just maybe talk about it.
Imagine that. Imagine actually talking about the subject on the podcast.
Yeah. So one thing that's important is this right here. Like, I have high hopes for this series. I hope people watch it, but in reality, I know not that many people are gonna watch it, and so we're going to remake. Maybe someday we might remake and actually tell these stories in a more structured manner. But Damien, do you want to talk about the Between the Buses story?
No, the Between the Buses story. At least not by that name.
tell you don't know it?
No, I don't know what you're referring to.
It's the day we were wearing the same hats, Damien.
Oh, that day? Okay, so let's go back. Let's take it back. So I had bought this hat. I don't even know where I bought it. It was like this. Is it Monster from the Muppets?
It is Animal from the Muppets. The drummer.
Animal from the Muppets. I don't know the characters' names. But anyways, I remember I saw it, the hat somewhere, and I was like, "This is freaking awesome." I don't know why I do like all the Muppets back then. I don't know. But anyways, I was like, "This hat is so awesome," and I remember like Jonas. You're not gonna look at this freaking cool hat that I had, and you'll never believe it. But Jonas said, and Jonas will finish. We'll pick up from there.
Damien showed me this picture, and I just paused because what I saw in front of me was a hat that I bought in Disney World, like 4 years before that. Like when I was kind of like pretty young. It was probably more like 3 years before that. Who knows? But I just look at Damien, I'm like, Damien, I have that exact same hat, that exact same brand. We have identical hats.
And you know what this meant? Being the band kids that we were, we said, okay, this show day, we're going to put on those hats. We're going to buckle them down. And we're going to be the bestest of friends that bestest of friends can be. And what does that mean to me? That means I was holding Jonas's hand. I was copping a couple of feels, if you know what I mean. And most importantly, there's a part where we're both outside of the bus, and we're kind of just, you know, we're just chilling. We're kind of holding hands, giving each other a bit of side eye. You know, the tension's building with our animal hats. But you know what we do? I put my hand over Jonas's lips and give him a kiss through my hand. So. Just to make the picture, I'm not actually kissing him, but I put my hand over his mouth and then kissed my hand.
So,
and
okay, let me add to the story. One, Damien is embellishing a little bit of how much hand holding and how much side eyeing there was.
Absolutely, I hope you can tell my sarcasm in the video, but we weren't actually doing.
Also, I don't know if it was between the bus that you did the fingers over my lips thing with your thumbs over my lips, because nobody was next to us, and I just remember getting like pushed up against but it did happen where Damien put his fingers over my lips and tried to kiss me while there was girls around, because that's how you get women.
Oh yeah, we were fucking. Oh, oops.
It's fine.
We were slaying the game out there. Maybe not in hindsight, but at the time, we were slaying the game.
We were. And real quick, I want to mention, just I haven't talked about this run at all. So right now, I have really good damage. And also, if you just saw, I used my Joker card at the end of Hush, because I don't know if this is common knowledge, but you don't get it. You usually don't get like an angel room or a devil room at the end of at the Hush room. So I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen if I use the Joker card, and I still didn't have the second key piece, and so I used it. Got into an angel room, got the second key piece, so I decided to go to Cathedral since I had the Polaroid to go fight Mega Satan. And at this point, I have a lot of damage. A lot of damage. But you know what was more damaging? Damian pushing me up against a bus. And yeah, the most awkward part about that was once Damian pushed me up against a bus, one of the assistant teachers walked by and saw us.
They saw us, and I'm sure at that point on, they thought we were gay lovers.
Even though they well knew that we were both dating women. But there's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with friends, touching a little bit, giving each other a little side eye.
Were we both girlfriend up at this time?
No. I really don't think we were. I think the whole reason why we wore the same hat and that's because we were sitting next to each other on the bus, because at this point our little 12-year-old girlfriends that we were dating for about maybe 3 seconds had broken up with us for the first time. We don't need to get into it, but basically there was a lot of in and out of high school relationships at this moment.
I wouldn't say I was. I don't think I broke up with that girl more than once. I mean,
I really think it was twice.
I don't really remember. It was a really weird situation because I didn't want to be dating her.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I ended up there. Actually, I do remember how we ended up there, but maybe I don't know if that's a story for another day or not. But just to show you guys how much of a player I am, to anybody listening to this, yeah, I was dating the drum major of the band.
Yeah, that's why.
Subtle flex on them. I dated the drum major. I basically was the second in command of the band.
Okay, let me just say, she's considered the second worst drum major to come out of that school.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
Well, I'm considered the first, but okay.
No, I mean, dating her, to explain the level of dating that we dated, I never even kissed her. I rarely ever held her hand. It was a very, I don't know. What would you say, Jonas? How would you explain this?
It was a first high school relationship. It really was.
Max. Yeah, and it was funny. Looking back, it was kind of funny. I kind of always forget that was part of my life.
Yeah, it's kind of a cursed part of our lives, and that's what broke me and made me the boy that I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it marching band was fun. Every competition we went to, it's fun because we got to get on buses. It was like going on field trips, even though we really didn't go on field trips in high school. It was fun times. Yeah.
It was really fun times, and just actually talk about this is bringing back so many memories though.
It's unprovoked memories that I've not had to think about in a long time. There is a lot that happened in that time.
I was not ready to talk about this. But anyways.
So I want to mention one of my favorite times. It was a time where Damien and I were also not wifed up. I think this was about probably the same weekend as that competition. It was about to be Halloween. And Halloween was also a weird time, but it was about to be Halloween, so...
What happened at Halloween? Do we
remember? So, you went to Halloween on base with my ex-girlfriend.
Did I really?
Yes, and...
Wait, no, okay, now we're stopping the pod. What happened? I'm confused now.
Okay, listen, podcast is still here. So, basically, me and my little high school 12-year-old girlfriend, She broke up with me to go be with another boy. Yeah, boo-hoo. Actually, that was the night that we actually got back together, I'm pretty sure. But it's mainly because Damien was there. But Damien was dressed up as Netflix and chill.
What? I forgot about that costume.
I know. He dressed up as Netflix and chill and was with our friend Troy, my high school girlfriend. And I don't remember who else. I just remember it was with them. I think Jaden might have been there.
Was my high school girlfriend there?
No, because we were both broken up at this time. But that doesn't
No,
matter.
she ended up coming, and I was like, what the
Oh.
heck? I was like, it was so over dramatic for no reason. But
Yeah, it was high school drama level major crises.
where were you for this Halloween then?
Because we were broken up and I was so sad. Also, I stopped, like, I didn't do anything for Halloween because I didn't live on base. I didn't live in anything considered base, so not saying you did. Not saying.
No. Also, it's not that I was just. I don't remember why I was with Jonas's ex-girlfriend, but also I knew Jonas's ex-girlfriend, or yeah, I guess it's technically still your ex-girlfriend.
Wait, she was in marching band.
And she was in marching band, but I also knew her for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Because we went to the same church. But we did a lot of church activities together as well.
I completely forgot that too. But let me get to the story that I was trying to bring up, Damian.
Story.
So, basically, as I said, this was right before Halloween. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was not yet Halloween. But we went to our friend's house, a French man, and we were with two band couples, and then it was Damian and I. Remember this, Damian?
French man.
Finley. Okay, so we were with Finley and Patrick and their girlfriends.
Okay.
We only mentioned the boys on this podcast, but we were at Finley's house, and we were just living it up. We were sitting out there eating food, and I think I don't know if exactly what happened. Was that the time that Finley's dad just brought French toast and he's like, do you want some French toast? Just put it in the oven and cook it. That I'm really bad at accents, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just trying to tell the story the most accurate way. But do you remember that? Was that the time?
I don't remember exactly if it's the time, but it sounds about right.
Yeah, and so basically we were sitting inside just like playing Cards Against Humanity, that kind of stuff, and then we decided to carve pumpkins. And so at this time, Damien and I remember at some point, Damien and Patrick were cuddling on the couch. Me and Damien were cuddling on the couch, just being dumb because Damien and I were unbooed. But we started carving pumpkins. And at this time, this was after the bingo ball event, right?
Yeah, it had to have been.
Yeah, because
bingo ball event was freshman year.
Oh yeah, it was freshman year. And so this was after the bingo ball event, but the reason why that's important is because I decided to carve the B3 bingo ball, the thing that represents us and is we were the B3 bingo ball in our Los Bingo Bangos Bandits.
Yes. And
so some people, if you know me, I'm illiterate in every sense. I went to carve B3 and I carved either the B or the 3 backwards. I don't remember. I carved the 3 backwards, and so it was backwards to the B, because B's go in the same direction as 3's go. But it was B, literally B has to have a 3 in it to be made, capital B. And I flipped the 3 the wrong way around. And so nobody was watching what I was doing. So when I presented it to the group, everybody's like, what is it? I'm like, it's a bingo ball that says B3, and they say that says BE, and that's the day my life was ruined.
Oh man, what a great story! What a great story!
I think Damian, I think you carved a cat.
I do. I kind of recall that. I do.
Yeah, but we will share more marching band stories sometime later in our lives, because there's actually a lot. It's really just flooding my memory banks of so much stuff happened. Like, so much stuff happened relationship wise, friendship wise, just marching band wise, just friend group wise, because Damien and I, he was kind of part of a friend group, and then because I was friends with Damien, I was jump started into this friend group, which was honestly like almost the cool kid friend group of the marching band, if that exists. Would you consider it that, Damien? Anyway, technical difficulties on Damien's side. But, so Damien was in the group, and so we all started hanging out together, and that's kind of what brought us closer, because we would hang out with this group, not frequently, but if there was ever a group of marching band people hanging out, it was our group. And so we had a great old time. It was a really fun time in marching band. We both had a fun time. As I said, we're going to share more stories later. But right now, 4 minutes left on the clock. I'm dribbling down half court. You good, Damien?
My internet died, so
Yeah,
if anybody wondering what just happened.
Yeah, you don't sound too hot. I knew there was some sort of technical difficulties, but basically I said, what do you say our friend group was like the cool friend group in the marching band?
As layman as it is to say, I really would say that that's a lot of says in a sentence, but I would say that I thought we were pretty cool, you know? I thought we had like the cool couple. I don't even know if they were really cool couple, but Patrick was just a bros. So Patrick being there was cool, and then having like Finley and
Patrick, Finley, and Duncan. Those were the three guys that were like the guys of the marching band. They were the most standout, like extroverted. They were the center of attention, especially when all three of them were together. It was a mess. A beautiful mess, though.
It was a beautiful mess, and I did enjoy.
I love those guys. I love those guys. I still hang out with Finley and Patrick. My brother's good friends with Duncan, so I've seen him a couple times. Basically, I see him and he's like band nerd because he graduated way before we did. Yeah. So
No, absolutely, and maybe one day we'll all
reunite.
be together again.
We did reunite. We did reunite once, but
We did
except
reunite
Duncan.
when
Except Duncan.
in the story last episode where we forgot to mention is I came back and when I came back we had a day specific for us hanging out with the band people, at least
we
the ones
did.
that mattered, and Duncan Donuts, Mr. Sir, who has revealed secrets to me about him,
Maybe in a
Didn't
bathroom
show up.
at a urinal.
maybe in a bathroom at a CC's Pizza, decided not to come to my I don't know, comeback party.
Yeah. That's really what you can call it, I guess.
So, I guess we're back on the computer now.
Oh, wait. Sick.
Audio. Better.
Yeah.
But go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, unless you have anything else to say, that kind of wraps up the whole topic of this podcast. Do you have anything else to say?
No, all I'm gonna say is if we ever do go ahead and come back and revisit this topic, more in a more organized way, we'll definitely go ahead and make it more organized. Right now, like I said, I thought we were gonna be talking about music, and I thought it was a stretch when Jonas mentioned it, but I'm half dead. For the Priets cast exclusive, I might have COVID, and I've had a lot of symptoms recently, and you know, might be dying. But if we ever do this again, I'll make sure to actually plan it out more, and so we can.
I mean, I'll plan it out more because like this is my thing, and I'm really bad at planning. Basically, I'm like, Damien, come here. He's like, okay. He's like, what are we talking about? I'm like, I have not decided. Record 3, 2, 1, go. And so that basically wraps up this podcast or this episode of Binding of Isaac. As you saw, I beat Hush, I beat Boss Rush, I beat Megasane, I beat Delirium. I have full complete Apollyon sheet, except I have not done hard mode Greed, which I still need to do that. I'll do that in a future episode. But yeah, we will revisit this at some point. Damien and I are both exhausted because in the past 2 days we spent 12 hours helping JP with his stuff. I know JP will never see this part of the video. If he does, I'm proud of you, bro. But he's driving us crazy. Anyways, any last thoughts, Damien?
Band kids are still cool kids, only when I'm part of the group.
I could have not said it any better myself. And with that, thank you guys for coming to the Priets podcast. First episode called that. This was a great run. Lots of damage. I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Priets. This has been Damien. Peace out. Bye.